As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner, YouGov, offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. And actually, guys, this is a great segue. Let me use this as a segue into the first article here, because I think it is relevant. And this is, the headline here is, Among Us devs aren't feeling Fortnite's new imposters mode. So basically, Fortnite has released a mode that basically just replicates the Among Us gameplay. So everything that Among Us does, you can do it in Fortnite.
That's all that Fortnite was, right? Like a replica of other games, just better.
But let me just make my point here, which is, Fortnite was a swing for the fences in a big way, I think. It succeeded, and it is a winner-take-most market, right? So they have a dominant position in the marketplace. You try and make a game like Among Us, it may have its moment in the sun, it may have a moment of popularity, but it's not going to set the world on fire because it's not that ambitious and it's not a swing for the fences. And worst case scenario, the big platforms just copy you, right? Like
that's the thing. I don't even think
isn't this kind of exactly why companies are doing what we just talked about?
But
like,
yes,
they're not innovating.
My argument for why you need to swing for the fences. You want to be the winner take most. You don't want to be the middle of the road success that gets either replaced or copied or.
I sort of see this as the exact opposite, where it's, hey, stay entrenched, keep your users, build a platform, and then sort of like add on different features that other games.
But you have to take the big chance first.
But isn't the argument here that
not if you have your player base?
Among Us swung for the fences, right? They had their moment in the spotlight, and what happened? They're getting ripped off now. That's what I see in this.
That's
right.
Yeah,
that's how I
swing for the fences with Among Us. It's like a
it's a new IP, new.
I guess what
mechanic.
I'm saying.
It's a new game.
Fortnite itself wasn't a swing for the fences because they built it as a save the world story-driven game, and then copied PUBG and DayZ because it was very, very easy to do, and they were like, let me just add this mode in and see what happens, and slowly but surely it like ticked up. So I believe, it wasn't really a swing for the fences from Among Us either. It was like a super small dev team.
Can we just take a step back, Paul? I'm curious, and I think I might know the answer to this, but is your qualm more as a gamer, you want to see more innovative, exciting new IPs, good games as a gamer, or as a business person, you think Activision should be spending their capital, building 15 new games? Because it's almost like
both.
It almost, to me, it feels like the market has already spoken on that. And maybe it's short-sighted. You could argue that the market, long-term, they are going to destroy value. But the reason why these stocks have done so well, and like the whole big bull case and pitch for investors in the industry, is that these things have moved from being hit-driven to being sort of like SaaS-like recurring revenue models. And you just have these massive IPs that have all the eyeballs, that have such big network effects. Like, that's kind of like what every investor loves about the gaming space. So I think moving backwards would be a short-term pain. You may be arguing long-term that's what they need to do to sort of like cannibalize themselves and sort of be relevant 10, 15 years from now. But short-term, that would be very painful.
What you're describing is a very standard life cycle of any innovation-driven industry, right? You see big innovation, then people sort of figure out the business model, and then everyone sort of hunkers down and figures out how to optimize that business model, right, to maximum profit. And then they all get complacent. No new innovation happens until they get completely disrupted by some startup, and the cycle starts over again, right? And what we're seeing is this.
Come in like ages.
What we're seeing is they're getting fat and lazy period, and disruption will come. Like, to me, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Yeah, it's the same thing with how we saw battle royales even get popular. Like, they weren't a thing for many years, and then 2010 12, 13, 14, DayZ, PUBG, all those start coming out and slowly start ticking it up. And then we see everybody's making a battle royale mode after that. So who's going to be the next DayZ in the grand scheme of things? You know, like who's going to be the next? I mean, before battle royales, it was MMOs, right? That was like the age of what was happening there. So what's going to be the next?
So is not the lesson from the battle royale era, the battle royale, if you will, was that you don't have to be first? You literally can be you should be the fast follow.
It's not.
So aren't these companies doing the right? If you were thinking game theory, shouldn't Activision Blizzard sit back and say, why would I take the risk and try to create the new genre, the new whatever? I could just be the second, the third guy in and sort of take over, because that's what we did in battle royale. Now it didn't really work in MOBA, so you know.
No one like if Fortnite didn't exist, right? If Save the World, if not one line of code had been written. Okay, and the people at Epic saw PUBG and said, "Oh, this is cool. Like, let's go make a copy of this." Right? You're talking like 4 years of development, right? You're a really slow follower. But it just so happened they had a platform and an engine that they could tweak to make it work, and right, like you're talking about a lot of positive. So
maybe the answer is optimize your company so that you are able to do that. You have
isn't that a whole business strategy, the fast follower strategy, like building a business so you copy other successful business models quickly? Like that's been, for example,
though,
trend in the fashion industry.
Even with Activision, we've seen the fast follower trend fail them miserably with Black Ops 4 per se, right? They did the first thing where they added class-based abilities in the game, and it was not taken to by the community at all. It did the lowest sales of any Call of Duty game for a reason. People were like, this is Overwatch, but shittier. Why would I play this? And so there's a huge risk that they took in developing Warzone. It's the first time Call of Duty ever goes free to play as well. So I think the success that you see replicated with Warzone and Battle Royale will never happen again for Activision, because you've already done the big thing in making Call of Duty free to play. You can never do that again. You don't have another IP that's as strong, and that's never going to make as big of a splash. So no matter what game you make moving forward, you have to nail it, because if you get another Black Ops 4 situation, no one's going to play your game. And if Warzone is all you got for the next 5 years, you're kind of screwed. So I think like luckily, they got Warzone correctly, I believe. And luckily, they rode that wave of free-to-play. I don't know if it's replicable moving forward into the next thing, you know, mentioning waiting for a prime time to strike.
Fast follower is a legitimate business strategy, but not in an industry where it takes 4 to 10 years to make a game, right? Like, you're not following very fast in that scenario. Now, could you optimize these businesses to do it? Yeah. But I haven't seen any evidence that says that's the strategy that works in gaming. I mean, William, you're not going to like this, but look at Heroes of the Storm. I mean, you could argue this was a fast follower that
100%.
Was maybe one of the biggest flops of all time, right?
Okay, like, Paul. Okay. Take off
X-Defiant.
Take off the boxing gloves, you know, just go straight for the face.
Mommy and Daddy are fighting
look,
tonight.
I know it may be a lovely game. It's not my point. It's, you know, anyways, it's an interesting.
I think Christian made a good point here. We want to
let me read these, and then I want to ask you guys a question specifically. So Matt says, Among Us is still relevant. It's not just a meme at this point. It is sort of just a meme at this point.
Oh, I want to interject real quick. I did a piece of man on the street content this past week. We went up to a very elderly woman. She was probably 90 years old. And I said, so what games are you playing? And she was like, well, I don't really play games, but my grandkids installed these on my phone. And she showed me Among Us and Roblox. I was like, why do you have this on your phone? She was like, yeah, sometimes I just sit down and play with them. And I was like, what? There's a 90-year-old woman playing Roblox. So there's a potential you're just matchmaking with her.
Single-handedly skewing the age curve. They're like, our average age is actually 20, because we have one 200-year-old woman in New York.
Matthew says, leave it to Fortnite to take your thing and do it better than you. I mean, they are pretty good at that. Christian says, Fortnite is now a distribution channel like TV, Twitch, etc., which attracts IP like Among Us to market to that audience to stay relevant. True. I think everyone here probably agrees with that, right? That it's a platform, it's a distribution channel, much more than a game. Christian says, along those lines, could we see Epic launch new IP through Fortnite and then spin it off if successful?
Fortnite Battle Royale.
That would be smart.
I mean, the question is are they better off doing that or just trying to make Fortnite this massive, you know, conglomerate of all kinds of.
Call it
to
Christian's
point, you know, Fortnite has a lot of LTMs when they do these collabs, like with Jordan and Stranger Things, Batman. I think a lot of those would be fun standalone in the Steam store or, you know, or Epic Store, I guess here. But I think a lot of those would be fun spin-off projects. I think that there's probably a licensing issue where they have limited rights, right, and limited access to that IP, and that's the true issue, at least for what we've seen in the past. Anything in the future, as far as an LTM and spinoff, would have to be a wholly owned Epic property. But so there's probably some legal issues there, which are why they don't pursue it further.
Can we come back to this article, guys? If you're the Among Us devs, what can they do at this point? Anyone have thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything you can do. They've had a lot of success, you know, like, you can try innovating your game.
Official legal opinion.
So, I mean, I like to compare it to, I'm going to take it out of video games for a second, compare it to social media, right? Snapchat came out, disappearing 24-hour shareable posts. Instagram copied it with the 24-hour feed, right? Instagram completely ripped it off. What did Snapchat do to stay relevant? I'm not really sure. They added a games component. It's still, I mean, the stock looks pretty great. I'm not a user of it, but you know, what can you do when someone rips you off?
And then 4 years later, Twitter did the same thing.
So could Among Us move younger and more casual?
I thought that was funny.
They could add a story.
Oh, I get it. That was a jab against Twitter.
I just got that.
Yeah, that was great.
I got it.
I was hoping for some like laughter.
Oh, you have the soundboard.
Could Among Us go younger and more casual? Maybe I don't know. What's the
they
play?
Could do a Coco Melon collab, I think. Yeah, that's a kids show on Netflix. Paul.
Based on the
for like toddlers.
Based on my
2-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yes, the guy's about murder and lying. We should be murder and deceit. This is the right content for toddlers.
I don't know, guys. I think that the bigger interesting question of this is like, you know, are the games themselves really not about one mode of gameplay but platforms? You know, and this is, you know, the Robloxification, right, of the industry, right? And I sort of hate to say that because Roblox maybe isn't the best example, but it's this idea of, you know, I mean, you could have called it maybe the Skyrimification, or I mean, we've been going through this for forever in the industry, but basically the idea that we're going to give you not just a game, but a set of tools, and the tools can make other things. And this is just a question of who's using the tools. Is it the community? Or in this case, it's the devs themselves using the tools that they have to create a new gameplay mirror. But I think it's interesting because I want more games to have more varied experiences within them, right? Like, what's your favorite part of any role-playing game, Jimmy? The random mini game that you have to grind to get access to the best end game spells and gear. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun to have variety in our games and to have different. And I think that I'm hoping that this is a larger, leaving aside the difficulties in this current space and what's going on here, I'm hoping the larger trend is that games themselves become more multi-home for content types.